Keith,
No.
Listen. I can't help it if Keith and I are men and you guys are kind of men-ish.
All right, look. Here's the deal. Can we get this done?
Let's get this done.
Let's get it done.
The whiniest bitch is fucking more of a man. Okay, I buy that.
I've never whined in my entire career.
You don't want to watch. Okay, here's the deal. You don't want to watch what are arguably the best shows on television right now, between The Boys, The Orville, and Star Trek. All three shows are fucking kick ass.
Listen to what you just said.
No, what am I saying? And what am I saying? It's the fucking.
I want you to hear yourself. Play this back multiple times.
The Boys,
the best shows. Arguably the best shows.
Arguably the best shows on TV right now. The Boys is fucking wiping the floor with anything on Disney.
There's a Trek show if you're not a Trek fan.
The Trek show is fucking great.
The Boys,
the Orville. You watched 3 seconds of Star Trek and gave up.
No, I watched like 30 minutes. That's how I got to the part where Spock has to
That's in the beginning.
But he can't get it on because he got an interrupted phone call.
Right. So why are you stopping?
But who cares about that? That's not Star Trek. Nobody cares about that. People care about exploring.
Yeah, that's why it's getting fucking rave reviews and people are adoring it.
There's a new type of fan out there.
No, this is an old school Star Trek.
So basically, back to what you constantly have been talking about. Where Artie's a gatekeeper now. The person
you're the gatekeeper.
Have no history, so they don't care.
Dude, they're tying it up into huge Trek history right now. That you're not.
That's right. They're wedging all that stuff in.
No,
now some people are having sex.
When did Spock not have sex with the POW or whatever her name is, whatever his wife?
I don't know when he didn't have sex, but I remember watching the original series and he didn't have.
He was in Pon Far, you fuck.
Wait. Podcast Cosmic.
Welcome everybody to the Podcast Cosmic episode 21? Right, 21. So we've actually broken into the 20s at this point. So
we're legal.
We're legal, right? we can actually drink. Before we start, like and subscribe below, follow us, hit that bell so you can get notifications for all good Power Quad goodness. Let's all go around and say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Hello everybody.
Hi. We all have different names this week, as you can tell. I'm Eddie Menson.
The Medi Thor.
Tooth grinder.
And Keith. Great, so that changed.
It's kind of like.
So this week we're going to start with some Marvel news, a bunch of Marvel news, some quick hits that George will shepherd us through. Then we will talk about Thor: Love and Thunder, which is hot off the press. It just started a couple of days ago, and talk about what we thought about it. Then we will touch on Miss Marvel, where we're at in the season, because we're coming up on the season finale. And then finally, we will unpack Stranger Things, Volume 2, and kind of talk about the season in general. So with that, let's hit on some Marvel news. George, what do you got for us?
So there were leaks for the Namor and Atuba designs from the upcoming Wakanda Forever movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of lean into that kind of Mayan culture look with the designs, which is, I think, interesting. I'm sure that there's going to be people who are going to say that's not my Namor, but I think Marvel has kind of been pretty good about incorporating some real world designs. And I think since this phase is kind of leading into gods and everything, it might be another type of culture for them to touch on. So I think the designs have been interesting. I just don't know about the mustache.
He has a mustache?
Does he have a mustache?
He has a mustache.
Yeah, that's not my Namor.
Yeah. And then the other thing was like Atuma looks kind of human. He's blue and human as opposed to looking sort of monstrous, right?
Well, I think he was humanoidish in the comics.
Humanish. He's just big and blue.
Yeah,
he's big and blue, but I mean, he looked more bestial, not like a human in blue with like a hammerhead type of thing.
Yeah, look, I give Marvel the Marvel Cinematic Universe the benefit of the doubt. They've gotten enough goodwill. I'm sure they'll pull it off. It's not necessarily the way that I would have wanted them to go, but I think it's an interesting take. I know they'll make it work. I just hope his attitude is the same. I want to see that bluster, that hubris, that power.
Just look in the
No.
mirror. Just look in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have that, then it'll burst my bubble quite a bit. But I'm super excited to see him in the universe and see how they do him. I'm not the biggest fan of the designs that I've seen. They look fine. I know they'll be able to pull it off. Let's see what happens. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm super excited. I'm wondering why we didn't see a preview for Wakanda Forever and Thor.
Everybody said the same thing when Multiverse of Madness dropped, right? That nothing had come out for Thor. And they're just going to ramp it up now soon because look, what do they have after this? They have She-Hulk, right? Miss Marvel ends, then She-Hulk, and then it's Wakanda.
And Echo, right? Echo's also this year.
Echo's later. I mean, that's more news that we have to talk about too. Sure. So
there's the Groot cartoon coming up soon too.
The Groot cartoon's coming up, but in terms of live action series, I think that's pretty much it, right? Unless something else gets announced between now and
I thought there was something else.
The Christmas special, Halloween special.
There's the Guardians Christmas special, right? And then there's I Am Groot. And the Halloween special, right?
Werewolf by Night. Right.
So what other news do we have from Marvel? Is it there
was a test screening for Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania.
Oh yeah.
Apparently went really well. So
no, you make that face, but I'm super excited.
When were you never super excited about something?
Listen,
I'll just say, hey, did you watch The Boys? Then I want to see you just come down from that. Okay.
No, but the possibility of Quantumania is we may see where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is heading. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe we'll talk about this with Thor, but I want to know where we're headed. I feel like,
dude, we're headed towards Secret Wars.
No, I know, but we're getting
slowly but surely.
Right.
Slowly but surely.
Secret Wars.
Far away hints. I want some concrete. I want to see Doom. I want
incursions. They said incursions. Where does incursions? What? Come on, it's.
No, I agree. But I want to see something. I want to see a character I haven't seen before. That's what gets me excited. The possibility of that.
Like characters you haven't seen before.
For you, the bar is set extremely low. It's extremely low.
When we go to Thor, you'll see a couple of things don't get me very excited.
Yeah, Hercules.
No, that got me pretty excited. But
really, okay, we'll get to that. But anyway,
excited in what way?
Oh yeah.
So what else we got from Marvel? What else we have?
So let's see. What is it? Do I talk about the spoilers that were supposedly discussed during the test screening? Or
sure, yeah, absolutely. Go
the fact that MODOK is in it.
I wish it was Patton.
Why wouldn't it be? Didn't he sign a deal for that show?
Just for this Hulu show. MODOK is not who you're expecting it to be.
I heard a rumor at one point that potentially it was going to be Jim Carrey, but that was kind of like, I don't think it's that either.
No, it's not. It's actually somebody who was in the previous movies.
Really?
Yep.
Then who? Bring it up. Say it. Who?
Corey Stoll.
Corey Stoll? Yellow Jacket is MODOK? Wow. How do they explain that? Like
I don't know.
He became MODOK in the quantum realm? Is that what happened? Okay. Wow. That's interesting.
He's a good actor, so I think
he's always been good, but it's like
okay. I just can't wait to see what he looks like.
So
well, he's gonna have to look like MODOK.
When does that come out?
February.
Next year.
Oh, that's next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done. We have one more movie, and that's it this year.
Yeah. Okay. Wakanda. November, I think, right?
November. Yep, that's the big one.
Wait. And I'm still curious as to who Bill Murray is playing.
Oh, he's in that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandmaster?
He's an Ant-Man.
Oh, he's an Ant-Man, so it's got to be Immortus?
I don't know.
They're not saying who it is, so.
Any other news? What else do we know?
Was there something else?
Yeah, we know that Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox are coming back officially for Echo.
Yeah.
Well, not the Echo. Who cares about that character? But the two of them being in the universe again.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's flash forward to when the Echo series premieres, or the trailer comes out, and Artie's having a conniption over how awesome it is. And we just remember that, just put a pin on this moment saying, what the
Just write it down somewhere.
Just write it down
Already
somewhere.
should it deliver echo.
That's gonna be
on
Daredevil.
it, and when
Is he
the
gonna have the
trailer
same
comes out.
costume, a new
Oh
costume?
my God! the new trailer.
I don't know. I would assume he's going to have the same costume. So far,
I think he's gonna have a new costume. I
the
think they're
rumor
gonna
is,
institute it.
and what was the other Marvel news? That okay, they're both back. So that's probably going to lead into the whatever Daredevil series is going to be. I mean, there's been some interesting things like there's rumors that Jessica Jones, Kristen Ritter would appear in maybe a post-credit scene. And I don't know if you guys saw the news about apparently Disney Plus changed the name of Jessica Jones to AKA Jessica Jones on.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't know if Mike Coulter will come back as Luke Cage, which I'd love him to come back. I mean, if anybody knows us personally, I love Evil, the show, and he's on that. So I don't know if he's ever going to get coming back to, and I don't think they're going to be bringing back Iron Fist.
What?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm fine with it.
I don't know.
I'm surprised they haven't said anything about Punisher because
That's who I want to see. That
of all of them, you want to see Punisher?
Oh my God, that's him, and I would love to see him.
The best Punisher. Yeah, Joe Berthel is great, but he was great in season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
I didn't care about his own show. I liked him in Daredevil.
I just want to see him in the universe as the Punisher, like badass again, coming in, killing a couple of people in the street.
You know something? I'll be the contrarian, but I think Ray Stevenson was a better Punisher.
Wow. Okay.
Only in that short.
No, he did a movie. He did Warzone.
No, but only in the short. In the short, he was better.
What short? What are you talking about? What
Didn't
short?
he do the short? Who's the guy that
Thomas Jane?
Yeah, Thomas Jane.
He doesn't know anything.
Thomas Jane did the original Punisher movie.
Yeah, that was terrible.
No, I take that back.
That's
The
not what I'm
original
talking
Punisher
about.
movie was Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, that's true.
Dolph Lundgren was the original Punisher movie. Then it was Thomas Jane.
Yep.
And then it was the sequel to that was Warzone with Ray Stevenson,
Which was tons of fun. Warzone was tons of fun.
Yep.
But that also had what's his name as Jigsaw, who's really I like that actor, Dominic West. I've always liked Dominic West.
He was chewing out the scenery in that movie.
Yeah.
And the violence was kind of hilarious in it.
Yeah, I gave up. I actually didn't make it through the Punisher series on Netflix. I loved him. I loved, and there was 2 series, right? There was
2 seasons.
Like as far as like Daredevil goes, I only care about making sure they bring back Foggy and what's her name?
Yeah, Karen. I hope they're both back too. But that guy played Foggy was excellent.
Karen Page.
Karen Page, please bring her back. I mean, she was the heart of the show. She was amazing. There's a rumor about Bullseye. But nothing, because remember where it left off, because this is apparently taking place after that. It's not. Yeah. So it's post blip, everything going on after that. So it's just a question of who what they're going to be. And apparently Charlie Cox is going to appear in She-Hulk. Yeah. That's the rumor.
Yeah, that She-Hulk news has got me. I'm telling you, there's some She-Hulk news that may not make me very happy at all.
What the rumor about the Thing? I don't think they're going to bring the Thing in. I don't believe that's the case.
I would not see another Marvel movie or show.
All right, sure.
Shut up. Thing in that stupid show.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Here comes the net.
How does it feel like to say something that you know is a lie?
Right.
I don't know that's a lie.
You're gonna quit. You're gonna quit Marvel. You're gonna quit Marvel shows. You're gonna quit Marvel movies.
I hope the Thing appears in this fucking show.
And no, you don't. It'll be the worst thing imaginable.
For Daredevil.
Okay, I'm gonna hold that. Let's put a pin in that because we're gonna get when we get
to
Thor. Once we get to Thor, and
and they're gonna announce something about what if Marvel Zombies and something at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, what's his name is coming back? San Diego Comic-Con was July 23rd. It's coming up in a
All right, so that's soon. There's probably going to be a lot of news around that time.
And then the other thing that was announced is Martin Freeman has been confirmed to be coming back as he was in Black Panther and Civil War. I forgot his character's name, but he's going to be in Secret Invasion as well.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I think Secret Invasion got pushed back. It's definitely got pushed back to next year, right?
Yeah, because it's getting a little bit bigger now.
Right. In terms of next year, in terms of movies, you have February, you have February, you have
Quantumania.
Quantumania, Guardians 3 in May, then July is Miss Marvel. The Marvels.
When's Blade?
Nothing's been discussed about Blade yet. They just
Blade
announced.
started filming,
Did it start filming? I
That's
thought it got
right.
delayed. I
I've
thought it got
seen.
delayed.
but it doesn't matter because Artie's not going to see it because the thing's going to appear in She-Hulk,
It's
so
gonna appear in
he'll never
She-Hulk.
see another
That
Marvel.
better not ever happen.
And then the
I
other
hope it
thing
does.
is
I pray to God. I'm not religious, but please God, let the thing appear in the show.
I'm waiting. I'm just going one step back. I'm just waiting for him to actually truly dislike just one Marvel movie, to be able to say, no, that I didn't like this Marvel movie or show or whatever. Just one. Just be able to say, no, I didn't like it. Because you've not said that about any Marvel movie.
Well, She-Hulk's coming.
Yeah,
And then we have Echo.
no. Well, Echo's later, so let's not deal with that at this point yet. What other news do we have? There was something else, right? There was that rumor about Howard Stern on a hot mic talking about the Doctor Doom project, that he's going to be in it.
He's playing Doctor Doom.
Oh, please, God, oh my God, please. No. I love Howard, but please, no, Howard, no, please. And
I love that casting.
any other
I'm
comics?
looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Any other comics news or stuff? Do we need to mention anything else before we jump into Love and Thunder?
I think the petition to replace Ezra Miller in the Flash.
With Elliot Page.
Yeah.
I do it. I mean, why not?
Because Elliot Page is a blank slate of no charisma.
Is anybody watching Umbrella Academy season 3?
Can I tell you one thing? There was one thing that I saw from it that I thought was kind of funny. And then that was the only thing that was interesting about it.
Does anybody made it through any
No.
parts of? I started the first season. I think I got maybe halfway through it. I never finished it.
There's no reason to watch that show for any reason.
I kind of put it in the same categories. What was that? Jupiter's
Legacy, yeah. It was,
I was like, I
was
just can't get
terrible.
into this.
Why?
You like Jupiter's
The
Legacy?
comic book, sure, I did.
No, you said the show was a lot of fun.
No, I didn't. Did I?
He also said
I watched the show. I couldn't get through the first episode.
Did you like the? You like the? You're liking the Terminal List right now, right?
Yes, I'm enjoying the term.
Did you enjoy what is it? The Tomorrow War as well. The one.
It was kind of mindless. It was like a 5 out of 10. Just something to watch.
I can't. I'm
But
sorry.
it's not like that. It's a completely different. Like I said, as we were ramping up for the show, I'm very surprised by how slick and well produced it is compared to other shows, even that Disney's putting out, or Amazon, or other Amazon shows, or Netflix. It's really up there.
You're not watching The Boys. The Boys is probably the one that. Well, let's take that back for a second.
No,
Rings of Power. Rings of Power is going to have a huge budget.
Oh, I can't even imagine. It looks like it's going to be really
but Stranger
big,
Things,
big.
But that's Netflix. Netflix has Netflix money. Amazon doesn't have the same type of money. It's starting to put money.
Bezos would stop spending money on a fucking yacht and spend money on his shows.
Well, his shows, like, I mean, honestly, I mean, The Boys is the first show. I mean, I've always felt this, like, I don't know if you guys have this. Maybe it's a bias that I have. Like, Netflix obviously is spending the money now. You could see that they're spending the money.
Well, they need to. They're charging
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon. It's like it's starting to finally get there. It's even, but like as much as I love Jack Reacher, you could tell it was kind of, not low budget, but they're controlling the budget. Even the Jack Ryans, which I started watching, were like okay, and stuff like that. Like some of the shows. And now they're finally starting to they're going to spend money on Lord of the Rings. I mean, they spent money on Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch that?
No, I mean,
I
they're
did.
not. And what did you think?
It was a show.
Like, here's the thing. Then you watch the show, you watch it, you go to Paramount Plus and you're watching how much money they're spending on stuff. Not Halo. Fuck Halo, because they didn't spend any money on Halo. But Star Trek, they're spending a ton of money.
I can see why they would spend it on Trek. That's a given. Like Trek has a built-in
Halo
audience,
too.
right?
Well, no, executive produced by Steven Spielberg. This is a big deal. I mean, I'm sorry. The Halo special effects, forget the story, because the story was convoluted as fuck. But the special effects sucked. I mean, like really sucked. Star Trek, at least you see it on the screen. Now, Hulu, even where I was going to say that Hulu was another one that the Orville special effects are fucking great. I mean, for what it is, and the storylines. I know, I'm ham-fisting this in here, but the storylines are amazing. It's like it's next generation level awesomeness of great stuff. Social commentary, a great character development, the whole thing. And I say the same thing about, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, like Stranger Things I'm leaving to the side because we'll get to it. But The Boys, I know already you don't want to hear it, but The Boys has rocked a great third season, probably the best season so far, in my opinion. Star Trek Next Strange New Worlds just finished up their first season. I think it's fucking great. Orville is firing on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned. Great shows. And to me, those three shows lapped Kenobi in terms of quality, in my opinion. I mean,
does it have to do with low expectations or no expectations?
No, production value alone.
Production values alone. I mean, we've talked about the storyline ad nauseum about Kenobi. The problem is that you can tell in certain scenes that Kenobi just felt like
cheap.
And look, they could be doing it. Disney could be having a calculated move here, saying they're trying to control costs to get the viewership and see what it goes, and then they'll throw more money at it. Something similar happened, like if you watch The Mandalorian season 1, it felt kind of smaller, and then you got to season 2 and it got bigger. But then how do you argue about Boba Fett? Is it just me, or like when they got to the Din Djarin, the Mandalorian episodes in Boba Fett, all of a sudden it felt like the budget exploded.
You know what I mean? 1930s claymation and stop motion animation.
It was like Ray Harryhausen. The first episode was Ray Harryhausen.
You guys complain about too much CGI, then they give you a puppet and you bitch about the puppet.
But do it well. Give me Clash of the Titans any day.
It's so satisfying, you fucking gatekeepers.
We like Clash of the Titans. We could watch that every day. But
I wish I could tell you that. I can't rewatch. I watched it recently. Oh God, Artie, I can't. It's bad.
I'd rather watch the remake to Clash of the Titans over the original.
With Sam Worthington? No, thanks.
Okay. Sam Worthington is fucking Elliot Page to me, but everything else about the movie is fun.
All right, so with that, why don't we just jump over to Thor? Let's pull off the Band-Aid. Who wants to take Thor on?
I'll go first with this one.
Okay.
I think I had way too much expectation going in.
What?
Not my favorite Thor movie. It's definitely not even close to my favorite Marvel movies.
So it wouldn't be in your top 10, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be in my top 10 at all. But was it fun? Yes. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. But what I took away from it is either they didn't spend enough time on any one of the areas, so it didn't give me the emotional punch anywhere in it that I wanted from any of the storylines whatsoever. That includes Thor himself, that includes Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor, that includes everything going on in New Asgard with the children. And really where they failed a lot to me in a huge way was around Gorr. I mean, Gorr to me does not, maybe because the movie's short in and of itself, he doesn't have enough screen time doing the things that Gorr I expected him to do.
There's no God Butcher
in the movie. And, Gorr the God Butcher, he hasn't done a lot of butchering that we've seen on screen for him to get that name. And for him, Zeus, who's the best things in the movie. Jane Foster, obviously, as the Mighty Thor. She has some great moments, I think, in the movie. You have the goats, obviously, but my favorite thing, bar none, is Russell Crowe as Zeus. But what I'm getting at is even he mentions he's killing like second tier nobody gods. Nobody gives a shit. And then I really enjoyed the very, very ending with love. I kind of like that piece at the end. But overall, for as much as I thought this movie can really, really aspire to in terms of action, fun, emotional heft, and punches to the heart, and you just didn't get it. I got a few scary, creepy moments with Gorr, a couple of moments with Jane Foster that I thought were relatively cool. And then I got kids powered with the Rainbow Bridge magic, shooting laser beams from stuffed animals at ghosts. Look, I've read comic books for a long time. I've seen stuff like that before. I can live with that kind of stuff, but it wasn't what I was expecting in this movie whatsoever. You can say it's the director 100%. Sure, great. Then I'd rather somebody else would have directed the movie. So all in all, not one of my favorites. Fun if you're going there for just popcorn. It's a lot of fun in that vein. And then you got the post-credit scenes. You got the introduction of Hercules. Great. I'm super excited by it. Now all of a sudden Zeus is really, really serious about what people think about the gods. Yeah, that made sense in the context of that movie. So you got that crap. And then you got probably the worst post-credit scene of all time with Jane Foster and Valhalla.
No, I don't think that was the worst.
No, let me tell you why. Because it looked terribly low budget. It looked like
I'm sorry. I
the
mean,
10th grade.
the drumming
10th grade
ant,
production.
the drumming ant.
No,
the drumming
I got you. But I'm just thinking about a 10th grade production, stitching costumes together in a fake wig for Heimdall. He had ill-fitting kind of outfit on. The background was just set there in the background. There was nothing majestic or emotional or hitting about it. There was nobody else to greet her in Valhalla. It was just a wasted piece of, here, we're going to send Jane Foster off. She made it to Valhalla where she's going to be greeted and taken care of. Anyway, that was terrible. That was just terrible. I like where Thor was left at the end, like I said, with love. I think that can be fun and they have some adventures together. I think as long as we have the same director doing the Thor movies, I'm going to pedal back my expectations because I think that also hurt how I feel about the movie. And I'm just going to run that these are just bubblegum picks that have no place or no big expanse into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're just Thor action pieces. I'm glad he got Mjolnir back. That was freaking awesome. All right, there's my piece.
George?
I disagree with, I mean, I agree with you on certain aspects of it, but I think the emotional elements kind of hit, especially like the last few minutes with Jane and the decision she made and everything about it. I think that landed a little bit more. Definitely was a little scattershot with the editing. I mean, especially since they said there was like a 4-hour cut of the movie. So if that's the case, it makes you wonder what the hell
You left at the table.
got cut, that it was, you know, that because it felt scattershot. Yeah, like, you know, Gore got his reputation, but we never got to see it outside of the beginning. But I thought Christian Bale did a really great job playing the villain. He played, he really did a good job.
You're right about that, 100%.
Him and Natalie Portman were just, I thought they were.
You know, it's always great seeing Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson was great. Yeah,
She's awesome.
I mean,
underused in my opinion.
I mean, I think the ending was more about Thor trying to, I guess, like find some sort of sense of self. That I think in the ending, having Valkyrie and everybody there, it kind of would have robbed Thor of his little arc for this movie, and also would have made Jane's decision not as impactful. You know, I think that emotional heft kind of carried it a little bit. Russell Crowe's Zeus reminded me of Mr. Panos a lot of times.
Yeah, but it worked, right? For me, it worked. The thing is,
the fact that he actually got the accent.
I loved it when he goes,
pretty.
Yeah,
he got it pretty. He got it pretty close. I will give him that. He got it pretty close.
There's some things that he says that are just fantastic, and he does this one thing.
Yeah, but what I didn't like, it's like the whole thing when he walks down the steps, and he's got to hold on to his thing. It's like, okay,
yeah, I agree. That's
joke for the joke's sake. It's like, guys, at some point, pull it back a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah. So
a little bit. Go on, George. I'm sorry. I mean, is there anything?
I had to get water anyway. I think the editing is what kind of made it feel disjointed for me. More than, I mean, and it felt like you were jumping from one scene to the other without anything breathing. And I think I'm curious to see, not a 4-hour cut, but I'm curious to see like this deleted scenes and what they, were cutting out of it.
Well, apparently they did cut out 2 important scenes, which is God Butcher taking out Grandmaster and Eitri.
Grandmaster. Who's playing the Grandmaster?
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff
Oh,
Goldblum.
that's right. That's right. Oh, wow. That would have been interesting to see.
Those were taken. Those were apparently, there was a rumor that those scenes were in the movie and they were cut.
So in this universe, I didn't get a sense that the Grandmaster was really one of the elders of the universe.
Well, I think it's also because he's some sort of a gatekeeper to something. I don't know what the
No,
deal is.
if he's one of the elders of the universe, he's a god type being in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you've also created sort of this. You remember, you created sort of this whole. Well,
Hierarchy.
there's a hierarchy of gods, and then even at the end, when they're going to eternity, if you look, there's the living tribunal, there's the Watcher. You know, you have these things, and even when the goats, when they leave, what the hell is the name of the city they went to?
Omnipotent City.
What a fucking name. Omnipotent City. And then when they break through the glass, you see two celestials in the background.
Yep.
And when Thor lands in that chamber at the end, he's picking up a celestial statue, the head of a celestial.
Yeah, the one above all. He's the kind of the Lord of the Celestials.
Right. So you have all these sort of hierarchy of people in there and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, George, I'm sorry, just wanted you to finish your thought.
No, I mean, I think the one thing that kind of carried the movie for me was the chemistry with the actors. I thought Christian Bale's performance was like really great. Like he threw himself into the part. And but I just think that emotional part of it just kind of, maybe like a second rewatch, I won't feel the same, but I just thought that like Jane's sacrifice was really well done. Like seeing her suffer through the cancer and everything was just kind of like, I wasn't sure that it was going to be shown like that. I was very surprised that they actually went as far as they did with it.
But I think George,
I think that's to me part of the detriment of the problem, because, and I've mentioned it, this is a very serious part of what happens in the movie. I mean, this is a life and death situation. She's sick, and the movie, it's two huge tonally different sort of moves that you're going for here. And there's moments it doesn't feel, I mean, her story is stronger than probably any other element in the movie, in my opinion. And I think it just comes very quickly in terms of, it would have been great if there was sort of an establishing moment between Valkyrie and her, that Valkyrie already knew that she was sick. Like by the time she appears, Valkyrie already knows that she's there. She knows what's going on. And it's sort of like, it's kind of kept. Look, I'm of the mindset that if this is something as serious as a heart attack and this person is dying, it should be much more. Not that it was handled with levity. It wasn't handled with levity. But by the time you get to sort of that scene with Jane and Thor in the hospital, it just feels like, okay, wait, what? All of a sudden you have the will they, won't they. It's not even a will they, won't they. They're going to get back together, right? They get back together.
They do show how bad she is when she goes to the bathroom in New Asgard.
But it's not, but no, I'm not saying rushed about that. I'm talking about the emotional beats of getting to like, I love you. This is it. We're done. It's like,
well,
the pacing felt rushed as opposed to building.
Weird.
Building to sort of, I have no problem with her sort of sacrificing herself, but sort of leaving it to sort of that last scene in the hospital where you're told something is sapping her energy, something is sapping her energy. And then he realizes that it's Mjolnir, right? He realizes that it's Mjolnir, which is kind of, okay, I get it. It's fine. But I got to tell you, the funniest thing of the whole thing is I'm watching it with my daughter. My daughter turns around, she goes, she dies in everything, because she was talking about it, like Revenge of the Sith, and now this. She's like, she's dying in everything. What's going on here? But yeah. Anyway, I'll save what else I have to say.
Because I think part of the thing was with Jane's character in the movie was she was trying to live her last moments.
And here's what I'm trying to say.
And that's the thing. And that's
Tony's death. Natasha's death, Quicksilver's death. We're talking about the MCU now. The way that people died, Aunt May's death had even a bigger emotional. Wow, to me, it just felt.
When
This felt like
Quicksilver died, I was just like, okay.
who? Not Quicksilver, but Tony dying was a bigger death.
But
Natasha
Tony
died.
dying is different, though. Tony dying was, how many years of Tony Stark? She was
But
in.
this is the love of Thor's life, right?
Well, but if we're going to be honest about Jane Foster's character in the movies, she's really good in the first Thor movie, where their chemistry was really good. I
In
thought.
the second movie, there was nothing.
The second movie was the last time you see her as Jane, pretty much.
Right.
That movie was all over the map.
Yeah.
So then after that, you don't see her again for how many years?
All right. Yep. Anyway, no, you saw her again. You saw her again.
That's not going to affect you as much as Natasha's or Tony's.
Look, I just expected a little bit. There's a reason why I'm going to this. It's like I think the humor offset, too much humor offset the seriousness of the movie. What was happening for me a little bit too much. I've said this is nothing new. I said it even back to Ragnarok. I go, you're dealing with between Ragnarok, which is serious as fuck about what's going on, and then you have the God Butcher, which is just as serious. And if you look at Jason Aaron's run and what the hell happens in that compared to what happens in this, basically, other than the Guardians looking at the screen, you get no idea of what God Butcher, what's being done in like real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I think they should. They should thrifted it.
A big misstep, and everybody thought about this. Oh, you have Zeus in this. That means he's going to take out Zeus. He didn't even come anywhere near the fucking Pantheon.
Take out Zeus.
He's going to take out Zeus. And basically the whole thing is, and then the whole idea of like getting to eternity.
Imagine if he took out Zeus, though.
But yeah, that'd be pretty awesome if he did, right?
No, I want to go back to this. That's the best scene in the effing movie.
What scene?
Just the Zeus, Ross.
Why don't you come down here and the thing? Yeah. I mean,
you won't go to the orgy.
No, you have a grape. Have a grape.
And the thing is, again, at that point, the movie was just so steeped in its humor, you just accept it, right? So you just roll with it.
And I can't believe
it's like Bugs Bunny at that point.
Well,
and to me, it was just funny. And again, that's why I know that I've already said this, but it had an opportunity that maybe it could have turned more serious at some point or something, or given us more, and it didn't. Like you said, George, Christian Bale did some really spooky, crazy stuff with his face.
But he also did some really powerful stuff in the beginning and at the end.
Like just walking and his face coming out.
His
appearing in the cage.
The whole scene, he chewed up scenery. The scene when he captures them, is fucking a master. First of all, it's fucking great. It's him, the way he reacts to everybody and everything that he does is that to me. And it's like, you want more of that. That's where I'm feeling that it's tonally jarring. You're going from that, and then you're playing
to funny to sad, and like the last 10 minutes is like, I think the last 10 minutes is then it becomes like a really serious movie in some aspects.
But I didn't feel the weight of it. I felt like, okay,
because at that point it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, I agree. With that.
I think it was one too many scenes of Korg saying something stupid. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is me being like an anathema here, but one too many goats yelling, screaming. I gave up after a while. I was like, okay, guys, you overdid it. I think you overdid it a little bit.
George, when you say the last 10 minutes,
not the goats.
George, when you say the last 10 minutes, you mean when they finally get to the eternity spirit realm?
Well,
what Jane's going through, that from when Jane
went in the hospital to the end, right? Okay. Yeah, that's what, and I get it. And Jane's best scenes.
Jane's arrival at eternity.
Jane's arrival at eternity was great, and her whole three things.
From that point until, Gore's wish with eternity. Because I thought that Thor was going to get there and wish, something else. And that I was surprised at. Yeah,
I was like, I mean, I loved Jane's speech. I loved everything that she did, like the three things, and that was kind of cool. I think she looked great as Thor. I think she looked amazing
as Thor.
And
Thor looked great in the beginning.
great. Thor looked great in the beginning. Here's the thing, but
You look great
I'm
naked.
gonna go back to this. I want Thor arriving in Wakanda. That's the Thor I want. I want the Thor who's the ultimate badass. I do not want the surfer bro, dude, idiot, bumbling, wisecracking jokes every single fucking time. Like the Thor, I mean, I get it. They've had an evolution, but they've pushed him so far over to the fact that he's comedy and everything. He's Bill Murray. He's fucking Peter Venkman. Everything's got to be a quip. And that's fine. That's what you want to do, but you want him to be bad. And again, it's just as much as I love balance and as much as I love that's the problem with the movie for me. There was a lack of balance in a lot of things. Perfect example, Guns N' Roses. How much Guns N' Roses are you going to have in this movie? I mean, you had every hit single in this movie.
Right, you did.
I mean, in every scene. It was, and I mean, other than Rainbow in the Dark from Dio at the end, right? Everything was Guns N' Roses. Fucking the poster in Heimdall's son's room, who renames himself Axel. I'm like, okay, guys, we get it. Taika, you love Guns N' Roses.
Vlad, can we tell the truth here? You're just jealous because you can't do a split.
Like no, no, I don't care about it. And for all you Guardians fans, I mean, if you blink and you miss it, they're I mean, they're gone. Like it. I mean, and we said this. I go, they're in it for the first 15 minutes. 15 minutes is generous. They're in it literally for 5 minutes. Right.
Right.
And it's.
Yeah, that whole beginning seemed like wasted space. Now that I think about it, that prologue dealing with I
just feel like
whatever that is.
It's like, and again, this is not arguing for what Kevin Feige was like, what they were like prior to, you know, like sort of what happened with Simon, not Simon, what was his name? Who did who was going to do Ant-Man? What was his name?
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright's sort of conflict with sort of artistic conflict of sort of artistic integrity, doing whatever you wanted to do in the movie. And they said, no, you got to keep it to a formula. They saw what Taika did in Ragnarok and they tripled down, quadrupled down on it and said, go with it. And it got to the point where, as much as I love Taika, I love Jojo Rabbit. I love What We Do in the Shadows. I mean, by the way, fourth season starts this Tuesday. I love that. But it's like, at some point you get to this, you're like, okay, this shouldn't just be a comedy. There should be something. I mean, it's like, what should it be?
Well, we do know this, that everybody jumps in the air and slams their fist down on the ground. That's something everybody in Asgard does. So I think, Vlad, you hit a very important point, I think, for me. When I think of Thor, that's what I want too. I want that bring me Thanos kind of moment. And of course you can't have it, but God Butcher is supposed to be a serious enemy.
Serious as fuck. Even you mentioned this, Sif. Even when Sif was found mortally wounded, it was a joke. And I'm like, guys, come on, seriously? Everything is a joke? And that's why you're setting up, to George, to your point about even Jane's death. You're set up throughout the entire movie to sort of have a snicker about every little thing that's happening. And then, well, we're going to pull the rug from out of you and pretty much say, no, she's dying. And you're like, oh, okay. Right? Okay.
Well, I think my thing was more, I think
I'm
like
glad that she died. I don't mean to.
She broke the sink was kind of like, you got an idea of how serious it was.
Right. But you've been going through laughing through 45 minutes of everything. It's like one joke after another. After there's Korg is saying something, 3 jokes into it.
No, and he's just a face and he's on the back of her head. And it's just like, that's my God. Or that's a character who doesn't need to be in the franchise at all.
There was too much Korg.
I'm sorry. I mean, I have the Jane Foster stuff was great. I think all of it was great, but I think it's like, there's some point where you want a sense of pathos. That I think the word is like deep pathos. You go to everything at Omnipotent City was a joke. There was nothing there that was serious as fuck. Even at the end, I'm sorry, as threatening as Zeus comes off.
You didn't think the God of Dumplings was serious?
The God of Dumplings.
There is dumpling gods.
Right? Oh my God! Seriously, the God of Dumplings.
That's something you would draw perfectly. You.
The God of Dumplings.
There are people who worship the God of Dumplings.
That is true. I mean,
I do.
And then, and here's the thing, that is a perfect sort of that omnipotent city. And I mean, if you've seen the analyses of stuff and all that they're talking about, like all the like Bast is there from like a Black Panther, the Celestials are there, right? You have all these different pantheon of people that you can actually kind of wink, wink and bring up a bunch of things. They do say some really interesting things, like each of the pantheon, each of the gods just deal with their people. So that sort of explains why you haven't seen this cross-pollination of gods, right? That you don't see any of the Egyptian gods there, right? Because you were thinking, oh, this is going to be all the gods. You'd see people from Moon Knight. Nobody, right? There was no tie into Moon Knight. There's none of this. But you see the Celestials. They could have kind of given you a few more Easter eggs, but
I'm
they
wondering
don't.
what the Celestials do during the orgy.
They
watch.
See it. They watch. So does the Watcher, right? The Watcher's there too and watches that. I mean, it's check your mind at the door. Don't expect to get any more sort of. How does it further other than the fact that Thor is now a dad?
I don't think it further has.
I was happy to see Thor will return. Yeah,
You will see, yeah, which was interesting.
I mean,
I don't think it has anything to do with any of the Phase 4 plans.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's kind of like, for me,
I think like even Ragnarok, outside of the fact that it just because it leads directly into Infinity War, that was because of the way the Russo brothers and the way everything was written. But I think if you looked at Ragnarok as a standalone thing, it was within its own little.
It was a buddy cop film.
Without the tag scene. And again, I don't want to go there and say, this is the first Thor movie without Loki, but
it was the first Thor movie without Loki.
It was the first Thor, and there's something to be said about having him play against Loki.
Yeah.
I mean, there is something about him and Tom Hiddleston playing against each other. Don't get me wrong. I love Tessa Thompson. I think I love her character. I think she should get her own spinoff. She should, and not being the president or the king of Asgard.
Tales of Asgard.
Just
Tales of New Asgard.
Whatever. But she's great, and
what were your thoughts on it?
I didn't watch her on screen just walking for like 2 hours.
Well, is that so? You didn't think it was the greatest, Keith? I mean, did you already say your piece? I mean,
You guys have been saying pretty much everything I felt for the most part. I mean, to Vlad's point, I mean, we had built up to the fact that it was too much comedy, and I think that came true. There was no real dark points. I mean, you could say Jane's, sickness, but at the end, it fell short for me, like just Vlad was saying. It just felt too much comedy. Everything was a joke. And you're talking about Thor, who, I think it was someone else that said it, but like, he's like one of the most tragic heroes in the Marvel universe. Loses his mom, loses his dad, loses his city. I mean,
and they touch upon it in the movie.
Yeah, they tell you the story, but they make a joke out of it too with the actors. So it's kind of like, all right, I get it. It's just a fun, goofy film, but we did that in Ragnarok. Did we have to do it again and even double down on it? I don't know. I mean, and again, I'm not going to say I didn't have fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was, good popcorn movie. I saw it with Evan, and I turned to him at the end of it. I said, "What'd you think?" And he said, "I liked it." So so you could definitely have fun with it. But as far as a movie, in my mind, it just wasn't. It definitely wasn't my favorite either. But like everything what you guys said, I pretty much.
I'm with you guys. I mean, I was worried, and again, I'm not trying to sound omnipotent. I was worried about it doubling down on too much comedy when you're dealing with a serious subject. And that ultimately was sort of the thing to me that made me feel like, look, I'm not asking for $1 Million Baby here where it turns and it becomes totally dark.
I'm weeping at the end.
Weeping at the end. And trust me, there is moments, like where you feel it. You do feel it with her when she's, when he's like, I want you to stay and all that stuff. But it's
deep hits for me. I wanted that. Like Vlad, I really wanted that. I wanted that between him and Jane, but they did not build on
comparing.
that.
I'm comparing. I know not everybody loved it as much as I did, but if you go back to No Way Home and you see the scene with the three Peters when they talk about with great power comes great responsibility on the rooftop, how can you not have a dry eye when they've just realized And
I didn't cry.
and I'm you okay, because you're dead inside, but that's besides the point.
I mean,
But
that doesn't mean anything.
no, but I mean, but you're talking about something so huge. He loses a loved one. He's about to potentially lose the love. And I'm not talking about when she dies. I am talking about in the hospital when he realizes that this is the only thing. That's the moment you realize, oh shit, this is
Well, because I think part of there were two parts of the problem. There were a couple of issues with that. And I think this is the reason why it doesn't hit. Aunt May dying hit because she was a vital part of 1, 2, and 3 of the Spider-Man movies. If this was the third Thor movie and in a row that Jane appeared, maybe it would. I just feel like her disappearing for however many years kind of robs it of the immediacy and the hit.
But George, don't you think in movies sometimes when it's one movie you see, they build up enough emotional credibility within the movie to make that type of scene work?
I'm sorry, I'm going to bring it up. I mean,
emotional credibility is bigger when you continually see when you build a bond with a character. When you see that character over the course of a number of years. Jane, you haven't seen in how many years?
But you're supposed.
It's difficult for you to kind of. Okay. The movie doesn't earn it. The movie doesn't earn it. But also
doesn't earn it even showing you their backstory, which you finally get. Which you can appreciate that they're giving you sort of like because they glossed over it in the movies previous, like they just broke up. So you get an idea of what happens there, and it's sort of like even that was a fucking joke. Nick Fury. He pulls up the phone and he spelled furry, not fury. He spelled furry. I'm like, guys, seriously?
Well, maybe he was trying to tell us something there. He is going to see Hercules in the next movie.
No, that makes you. The only thing I'm going to tell you about that. Oh, that's the pin I wanted to put in.
No. Let's not go. Let's not talk about it.
You got excited now that you saw it. But when we told you who it was, you fucking shot a brick. You were so pissed.
No, wait. It was more than a brick.
Listen.
Empire State.
His outfit even looked like the Hercules outfit.
He had the thing on.
Yeah,
he
that's
had the whole thing. He looked the part. Now
Okay.
go watch
He's
Ted
got a
Lasso.
hairy chest.
Because he's fucking Roy fucking Kent. That's who he is.
No. He is Hercules.
He's Roy Kent.
He doesn't borrow from the other show to be Hercules.
If he grunts just once or says anything in a semi-threatening manner, it's Roy fucking Kent.
So let me ask
George,
this.
back me up on this. George.
It's useless trying to talk to this jackhole.
It is useless. But I want to ask this question before we move on to Stranger Things or Ms. Marvel.
Miss Marvel's next.
So obviously the next movie is supposed to be Hercules. Is that what I'm hearing?
There's nothing. Stop. There's nothing big.
Don't predict.
Don't predict. It could be a TV. He could show up on a TV show. He could show up it doesn't matter. I mean, Marvel's all over the place now. They could do whatever the hell they want.
Okay.
So it looks like it's going to be him versus Thor, which is going to be ridiculous because you know that Hercules is going to end up on the Avengers or on Thor's side anyway.
Yeah, against Zeus and the gods.
I highly doubt you're ever going to see Zeus again.
No, we have to.
No, you won't. Why?
We need little snippets that they just pay him millions of dollars to do every week, like eating feta, going to the choreo, going to see the goats, like he sees the goats. Like, I wanted to see him, like, just doing funny shit. It doesn't have to be part of Thor. It could just be Marvel presents Zeus anecdotes.
Right. Do you want to go see something? And here's the other one. Are you watching What We Do in the Shadows? Look at you fucking getting upset. This is why I have zero fucking confidence in you. Another one of the best shows on television. You're not watching.
Wait. Why would you have any confidence in him?
I have this undying hope that
Why?
I told him to watch Evil.
Shut up.
Fuck you. I told you to watch Evil.
Shut up. Right now. Do you know what you are, Vlad? You're fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi and he's fucking Anakin Skywalker. They might be good at it. Just till he throws a fucking rock on you and then maybe you'll realize that my friend
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. You have the high ground. I have the high ground. You don't underestimate my power. You end up getting barbecued. So before we jumped over to Miss Marvel, do we give it a grade? What do you guys give it?
Boys,
No,
boys.
Thor.
6, 7.
6.
7.
Yeah, I give it about a 6.5. I mean, I thought Christian Bale and Natalie Portman were and Tessa Thompson were the standouts.
We didn't talk about the Mjolnir Thor Stormbreaker.
Oh, the love triangle. Okay, seriously, guys. Okay, let's stop. Okay, because it's like ridiculous.
I like how it just comes in the scene.
Well, that was funny. Yeah, but it's funny. But then you cut back to bring me Thanos.
Right.
You bring me Thanos, and you're just like, okay, where's that? You know, where's that moment? You know what I mean? That's it.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So let's switch over to Miss Marvel. I gotta tell you, I'm loving it. I think it's full of heart, and I've said it before. I was really surprised how much I loved this last episode because everybody said it was going to be a departure because it showed sort of Kamala's family's
The origin story,
which I thought was really moving. I thought it was really, especially her grandparents, was amazing. And I love that they tied it into the fact that she's the one who comes back. Sort of there's this loop now. It's fucking great. It is a little confusing at the end as far as I'm concerned because I'm trying to understand who the big bad is now. Is Kamran now the big bad because he's gotten the power?
No, I don't think so.
And who's the big bad?
Before you go on, I just got to ask this. I thoroughly enjoyed it too. Take the 2 most recent episodes. I really think that with a 6-episode series, that's a lot of space. And again, unlike most other shows, like even reading comic books, there's always a bad guy. I don't know that I know who that really is now.
Well,
I don't think you know.
Like there's no Ronan the Accuser or something like that.
Well, I think the bad guy was originally the
Her aunt.
The clandestines.
Right, but now is it going to be damage control?
That's what I'm thinking.
In one episode, like
this is a problem that most of these shows have, unfortunately, because they're very short and they kind of paint themselves into a corner. And I'm not just saying I'm saying Disney Plus shows in general. It's like you have a very limited amount of time and then you're rushing to the end. It happened with Boba Fett. It happened. Moon Knight, not so well.
not Mando at all. Mando, they really let it breathe.
No, Mando let it breathe.
I just
Obi-Wan.
I think even Moon Knight let it breathe too.
Yeah, I thought Moon Knight did too.
I
Even
thought
with
Moon
those
Knight
2
did.
middle episodes.
Moon
they
Knight
still
did
let
it.
it breathe. And again, it was
Loki.
like you said, they did a
Loki
great
did.
job. Like there's emotional investment. You get to see the history.
The mother-daughter grandmother
Yeah.
relationship is
I
extremely
like that
powerful.
at the end. I thought that was bravo.
I loved the whole thing about the mother finally finding out and not like and realizing her daughter, it
And her
moved.
mother.
And that's what
But
I'm
also
trying to
that
get
her
back.
mother was
And her mother
exactly
and the whole
crazy.
thing with the mother. And that's what gets me. I'm sorry. You watch that in Miss Marvel. And I get it. I'm a pretty emotional guy. I cry at a drop of a hat. And I didn't get the same feeling I got in Thor that I got in Miss Marvel that I'm getting in Thor, where you're supposed to be moved about these things because it's the show overall is lighthearted, right? It is.
Yes.
Oh,
And Thor stuff is trying to be just as lighthearted.
But I don't think Thor is lighthearted. Thor is more intentionally pun joke.
And it's a serious fucking story. You're dealing with probably one of the most PTSD'd members of the Avengers. And you're treating it as if like he's okay. You're touching on it that he's trying to find himself and trying to do all this thing. Go ahead.
So to Miss Marvel, they closed the doorway, so they don't have to worry about the
No, but she transferred the power to Cameron, and then that energy, and then now is it damage control? That's the bad guys, and what's Cam? Is there another Bangle? That's what I'm trying to
That's the
understand.
question.
Is there another Bangle? Or
there
not?
should be, and again, this is so different than the existing Marvel universe because she's not tied to
Terrigen Mist. She's not tied to
the Kree. there's all this new stuff they created for the show, which I don't think is bad at all. I'll roll with it. The clandestine's not even the clandestine from the Marvel universe, because like I said, the clandestine are basically the fairies, the magic using creatures went into another dimension, and that's what clandestine became, the children of those thick fairies and stuff like that. But I'm very curious to see what is made of this and why Captain Marvel, whichever one they use, comes in the picture in the next episode. If
Well,
that
that's sort of what I'm trying to understand, because I feel that that was the question I was going to ask you guys. Does it need a cameo from somebody?
Well, she's going to be
No.
in Marvels, right?
No, she is.
No.
Here's the thing. What I'm trying
No.
to say is
Not?
that if you
No, I don't think she needs a cameo. I
Okay.
think I just let her story stand for what it is. And, maybe they'll do something prior to the Marvels movie that kind of ties her in. But I think they need to let her story stand on its own first before all that other stuff gets.
Do you
thrown
think
in.
that
also
they missed
trying-
that opportunity, that it doesn't feel concrete in the Marvel universe?
I don't think so.
No, I think we've gotten so used to now that there's always everything has to be linked. Here's the thing.
But here's the thing, it's in the Marvel universe because of the whole Avengers thing. So,
Okay.
they
But
kind
But
of
it would be they gave Photon sort of that link to Secret Invasion,
Mhm.
right, in WandaVision. Then we know that she's going to be in this thing. Does she need this? Does she need that sort of extra part?
Well, do we know? I thought George said she may not be in that.
Oh, she's definitely in it. It's
So it's the three of them. Photon.
Oh, it's
her-
Photon. It's
When did I
it's
say
actually-
she's not in it?
Oh, didn't you say that? Oh, you meant to say that she doesn't need to have a cameo. Got it.
Okay. Listen. Yes.
Remember, I'm deaf in one ear.
You're deaf in both ears.
Only
So
when I want to be.
So I mean, I think they're not going to get Brie Larson. They're not going to get Brie Larson for this. I think if they get anybody, they're going to get either Photon, or they would get Nick Fury. That's what I think it would be. It would be but somehow Damage Control has to tie into something bigger at this point, right? And I don't know what that is.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do with the boyfriend, but like that. That also, I'm interested to see where.
Well, and then the other thing is her best friend. They've kind of left it really hanging.
Brian.
The best friend, not Brian,
not Brian. I know.
Bruno,
Right.
not him.
That
Her
was a
other
cute
friend,
scene.
her other friend, who was sort of taken aback by the fact that she was Light Bright or whatever they called her.
Nightlight.
Like
So I think you're wondering what's going to happen to her, because in the comics she does accept her. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep it like that, or they're going to go with the. I will tell you what subtly I love about the show: how they're slowly building her outfit
Yeah.
through her
yeah,
heritage.
very cute.
Yeah.
I love the
Little
fact
by
that she's
little.
gone back. She went back to Karachi, and it's sort of tying in and empowering her more to become who she will become. I think it's pretty damn awesome how they're doing that, and I love that she got the scarf she got from the red what do they call the guys, the red hoods, not the red hoods, the red
Red daggers.
the red daggers. That's going to be this.
Yeah.
The mother sees that she broke her necklace, and her necklace is basically what's going to be the S on her chest.
Mhm.
And all
Glad.
this little stuff that they're building into it.
Lightning.
The lightning.
Does your daughter watch the show?
Yeah, she does. She
Does
doesn't
she
watch
like it at her age?
She thinks it's fine. She thinks it's fine.
The,
I mean,
the one
she's
thing
not.
that's kind of about the trip to Karachi, though, is like when she goes there, you got the grandmother that's holding on to the past because the house is filled with everything, all these mementos. Her cousins know about the past, but they don't give a shit about it. And it feels like Kamala is kind of bridging that gap between the two in
Right.
terms of what her costume is being like. So it's a nice, again, it's a nice character touches that they're doing. In again, this is what Marvel does best. When the story serves the character.
And I really feel that they're spending a lot of time on her culture. Now, again, I could be completely ignorant, but I will say something. Her whole trip back to Karachi and all that, and sort of the way that her grandparents, her grandmother greets her, the way that her cousins greet her. For anybody who knows this, who has family abroad and who's traveled abroad, that whole experience of sort of having to be with your cousins and having to go to the house and experiencing the city and looking at for me, going to Athens or already, you know, I know you've done it, George, you've probably done it too. So sorry, Keith, but they really touched upon sort of that feeling of what it's like to go back to your roots, to your family's roots. And I thought that was really well done.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
did
I
a
have
good
to say.
job.
I think that
It's got a lot of heart.
it's got a lot of heart, and you know, and I got to tell you, you know, you go to that, then I'm sorry, I don't want to bring back Thor, but it's like, you're getting all these emotional punches here, and these, like, not just punches, but hits, you know, like really you feel good about it. And then you come to this and you're expecting this because you love this character. You're invested in this character and you want more of that. That's sort of what I felt was
I'm
like.
wondering if the runtime, because even
It's
though
one of the
you
shorter movies too.
2 hours, but I just think that if you're talking about a 4-hour movie that got whittled down to 2 hours, it just feels scattershot in terms of editing.
Sorry. I mean, again, I understand you're
This last episode of Ms. Marvel is like 35, 36 minutes, but they do a lot in that time. And
you feel the love that her great grandparents have for each other.
Yep.
Okay. You feel that.
And the actors are terrific.
They're terrific. I got to tell you, the chemistry between the father and the mother, and how it plays out, and the way that it's done subtly, it's not like over the top, sort of, that you understand that they fall in love, and it's done, you know, traditionally, you know, you're not showing kissing, you're not doing any of it, you're showing it very in a storybook sort of fashion, which I think is amazing. And then and you're like watching this going, I remember watching it going, okay, you know, this is like the fifth to last episode, second to last episode. And you're like, when are they going to get back to Kamala? You know, and then it kind of seamlessly happens real quickly. And you're like, oh, wow, this makes perfect sense. And I thought it was, and then it was.
I think that was the thing that was well done about it, was the fact that her grandparents and her grandmother's story, her great grandparents, I guess, right?
Yeah, her great grandparents. It's her
great. And then her grandma's story kind of ties in to her appearance. So all of a sudden, it just leads
right.
It's that, and it's just like, it was like, oh, okay.
It's just so funny how cyclical it is, about sort of seeing how her mother finally admits to her that I don't want to let you go, but then also seeing what her relationship with her mother was like, and sort of all that, how it comes full circle. It's a healing process. I know we all sound very touchy-feely right now, but it's true. It works.
Well, Keith was the one that was kind of like about the episode, so I'm curious to hear.
Right. I mean, I'd like to. I said I felt it was a weak episode. Not that it was weak in the sense of, like, I really enjoyed it. A lot of heart, a lot of sweet, you know, family moments. The love story, very sweet. But I just felt like it wasn't. It was a nice, like, kind of flashback. But then again, I was like the same thing where I was like, but now there's nothing left. There's one episode left to finish up where we're going to go. But like you guys have said, and even like with Moon Knight, we had the same kind of like trepidation of like, oh, you know, the last episode, there's so much left to do, but they kind of did it. So I'm encouraged that they'll do it in this one too. And I'm just curious to see where they're going to go. Also, like, was there two Bangles at the same time in when she got sucked back to the past? Did she get both Bangles, or we don't know what happened there? I don't know what happened with that,
because it's never implied that there's two Bangles, right? There's only one that I'm aware of.
Right.
Yeah.
But wait, now that you mentioned it, does that mean she gets?
Yeah.
Was there a bangle?
Yeah, I don't know where it went, or because it was on the Santa, right? Like her it was on her grandmother, but then I didn't see it there, so I was just confused a little bit about that. I mean, overall, but wonderful. I enjoyed the episode. It just for me, it just felt like, all right.
It's a heartwarming show. That's all I got to say.
Because you know why? Because you're black-hearted, and this
there's just a charcoal left.
Just an ember.
Like just being interstellar and space travel. So
yeah, no, I just want to see where it's going to go now. I mean, I just felt that it just did for this, and like, the same thing. There's no villain. I mean, there's no antagonist that I'm just wondering, like, what are they doing with that? I guess no, you're right. No, it doesn't. I
don't know. No, I'm just asking a question though, because at this point we've gotten to 5 episodes with the clandestine. Clandestine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Clandestine.
And I guess it's more about her,
right?
I guess. I don't know. I'm curious. Like you said, it's one episode left. Does it need the traditional last superhero battle?
I think this is more of a superhero origin story, right? I don't think
Right.
I don't think that the thing is closed, honestly. I think there's still something
Or is there like a second season coming? Or is that
Well,
official?
she's
Sure, it'll get a second season.
She's definitely going. Well, don't be so sure about that, Artie.
Yeah, not the way
So
that
sure,
the numbers are doing.
Not the way the numbers are doing.
Oh, we know why the numbers are not doing good.
Oh, because the
Angry
Rotten
white people.
Tomatoes, because you got a bunch of incel, beta blocker, Dragon Force, cuck,
Snyderverse assholes, right?
Snyderverse assholes. You know,
Yeah.
they don't like the idea that people of color have a show, and they just got
I'm not going to say anything about Joe Rogan after this week.
Yeah, well, I can't. Joe Rogan's on my. I'm giving him a pass this week because
Yeah,
he
I know.
came out and
I
had
know
a great
why.
statement.
I know why. Okay, we don't need to discuss it, but anyway.
All right, so when are we going to get to the?
Is that like what you take for your gym grinds?
What?
Garage
Or
Christ.
block, or is that what you take for your gym grinds?
No, I don't take anything. I'm pretty much. I'm
All
on
natural?
natural, man. I get in there and I let it swing.
There you go.
I don't even think there's that much to swing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you right over here. You have Mr. Tripod. Okay. Anyway, shall we switch?
That's
over
who?
to,
Nick,
You guys didn't see it.
is that the footlock? And then some. Should we switch over to
what
Stranger
movie is
Things?
that from? Let him guess.
Bachelor party.
Bachelor
There he
party.
goes.
Nick the Dick. Is it
Bitches
Nick or
back in
Mr. Dick?
45 minutes or milk cut your balls off.
Great movie.
Is it Nick the Dick or Mr.
Mr.
Dick?
Dick.
Just Nick.
Just Nick.
Just
Was that Peter North?
No, that was
No.
I know that actor. He used to be.
I bet you know that
Of
actor.
course I do, right?
That's a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah. That's not one you see him talking about during the AFI.
You should. That movie is freaking great. Remember how much we loved that movie?
Yeah, but that movie came out the same year as fucking Splash, dude. And that movie's so much more fun than Splash. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
100%. That just is wild.
Yeah, but come on,
Med
it's got
is great in
Adrian's
that
med.
movie.
You have the secret weapon, Adrian's med.
He was great in that.
So let's switch over to Stranger Things.
Woo! That's the good stuff right there.
No, it's
That's
not.
the really good stuff.
All right, George,
No.
why don't you?
No, I'm not starting because I started off with the Marvel news. Let Keith start.
Keith,
Yeah.
okay.
I thought it ended okay. It was fun, a good season. At first, it was like, maybe it's my second favorite season, but I think it's tied with the third season still.
I'm gonna fucking choke you.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. No, the more I thought about it, the more like I watched it again. I mean, I enjoyed it when I watched it with my daughter but the first part of the season I wasn't that really big into, and I think I enjoyed it more because I watched it with Mia. But yeah, it was okay. I mean, there was some goofy things. You know, the Russia stuff still was kind of silly. I mean, you had the Conan sword thing, a lot of cool little moments. You know, a lot of fun throwback stuff. The Eddie thing, you kind of saw it coming. But fun. I mean, good. A lot of good visuals. I mean, a lot of the characters they're kind of, the kids are kind of annoying me. But yeah, overall, it was a good season. It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
George.
I mean, it's my second favorite season, but that's not saying much because I didn't enjoy 2 or 3. I think my main issue with the story, with the show, is only pockets of characters are interesting. So when it cuts to other characters, I'm not as invested. I couldn't give a shit about Will, Mike, Argyle, 11, that whole nonsense. Like I couldn't give 2 shits about. I was more invested in what was going on in Hawkins because I think that group of characters, to me, are really much the heart of the show. They're the only ones whose actors are probably the more talented out of the bunch. I don't think that, I think that you feel more invested with them. With, I think, oh, shit, what's her name?
Max.
Oh, shit. Huh?
Max.
I think Max was the heart of the season, and her arc and everything that was going on, and Eddie. I think Eddie dying was a fucking waste of a potential really good character.
Yeah, I think Eddie stole the show. I mean, I
And
know
he's
Max-
well, I mean, he was still there was still ridiculous elements to his character, but like in terms of he was more interesting than Mike, than Will, than any of those other characters. And it's like I'm surprised that they didn't fake his death, because it seems like all Stranger Things seems to do is fake character deaths.
Well, no, but they have they have an ugly track record of sort of introducing
What fucking
characters.
show you guys were watching?
Yeah, they have.
I don't know what fucking show you guys were watching.
Before you go off on your rant, let's stop. Because
What
you
the
know
fuck
that
show
I'm
were
in
you
your
watching?
you know that I'm in your corner. But wait, in season 1 it was Barb. Everybody loved Barb, and Barb died. In season 2 it was Bob. It was Samwise, and he died. In season 3 it was Alexi, and he died. In this season it was Eddie, and Eddie is probably the most realized out of everyone, because he's somebody that has a huge the biggest arc out of all of those characters, as far as I'm concerned. You Artie, you didn't care about him. I liked him from the beginning.
Oh yeah, I remember Artie was shitting all over him for like
You were
how many
shitting all
hours.
over him.
I was,
And
but
he
he-
ends up, and I'm sorry, when he says never change, Dustin Hesnerson, that scene, when that brotherly embrace was one of the most beautiful scenes, as far as I'm not even going to the Master of Puppets, which is, as in my book, is it elevates everything to mythic status. But that scene when
You guys overdoing that whole fucking scene, but anyway.
Yeah, but let's not even forget that.
no, I'm not overdoing it, because first of all, the fact that you were
It's a zeitgeist. What are you talking about? Even the Metallica loves it.
Metallica's fucking doing it. No, look, it doesn't matter. I was thinking about this as we were going through it, and it's the same feeling that I got how we were getting love for Metal Lords when Metal Lords came out. But this was done even better in the sense of it combined both D&D and metal together. It combined, and I watched an interview with the Duffer Brothers recently where they're talking about sort of, they were trying to capture that whole satanic panic period and everything that happened, and sort of bringing it in. And some of the writers there were metalheads in the 80s who were like, we were into D&D just
Yeah,
as
it's a
much as metalheads.
caricature of the time.
And they
did a good
grabbed it
job.
and they encapsulated it. And the fact that
No,
they
they
did,
did. They did a horrible job with the satanic panic shit.
those characters, look, I didn't care about.
No, you may not like the characters, but they did. It's
But
a
I'm talking about
caricature,
Eddie.
George.
Eddie's
But it was
character.
still
It's not
terribly
a
done.
real
It was
snapshot.
So overdone. It was so overdone. Did you really need another person in the fucking, like another villain in this fucking series?
It's caricature.
It doesn't. The caricature doesn't make it good.
But I'm
Let
talking
me
about,
just-
like, at the end of the day, you ended up.
Looking awful over that.
Listen, I don't know how you guys could watch these last 2 episodes
Does it not be?
and
I was
come out
wild.
with the commentary that the two of you on the bottom fucking have. You have no heart, no soul at all whatsoever. First of all, it redeemed the entire first part of the season in these 2
You're
episodes.
stupid for saying that.
It actually elevated.
It was terrible.
It gave heart for every story arc. It gave heart to. Now
No,
you
it
talked
didn't.
about Russia. You talked about Russia. That part in the church between the 2 characters, that was a really powerful scene.
No, it wasn't.
It gave you such emotional punch.
It
Like
gave
this
you
is where
nothing.
Thor didn't work. Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't work. Where there's a payoff for just being into the story and
Right.
giving.
There wasn't no payoff.
What do
To
you
me,
mean?
there
there's
was.
no payoff?
I feel
He
there was
loves
payoff.
her. They're never going to have that date. They take that moment to take that time together and do it, even though they must die. They know how they have to stop the creatures. They have to go back to the prison. I mean, that's a big, big scene between them.
Right.
It's not a big scene. It's
They
a
may
fucking
lose it all,
horrible scene.
and it may
Boring.
help the others in.
It's
in-
so telegraphed. It was. I was
Oh my
surprised that
God,
they
George.
waited until hour 9,433.
if you guys want to be contrarian, be contrarian.
I'm not being.
I'll tell you this much. I mean, in a
does not
nutshell,
Those
doesn't-
2 episodes were the Lord of the Rings
those
of-
episodes,
of the Stranger Things, and not
they
only that,
redeemed. Not only did they redeem the
it was
season
the
for
best
me,
2 episodes in
No,
the last
that is
2 years of
ridiculous.
shows.
they did. To me, they
That's
were,
the most
they were-
ridiculous thing I've ever heard
Besides-
in my life.
Besides Mandalorian finale for season 2, this was the best thing I've seen in the last couple of years. The way
Yeah,
they
it was
tied up.
very emotionally satisfying for me as
And
well.
be-
To the
and
point
boom,
where,
not only do you
to the
have
point where, to the point for me. Sorry to cut you off. To the point for me where it's gone.
Cut him
I'm-
off. He's
I'm-
saying stupid shit right
I'm
now.
going back and rewatching the entire series from the beginning already.
well, I couldn't
And
do that.
and I'll be honest with you, there, I realize now how it's almost like, again, not to compare it to the MCU, but it's like you're going back and watching baby steps in the first few seasons, because I remember I really loved season 1. I'm right in the middle of season 2. I don't necessarily care about it so much. I'm actually at the point where, I love some of the relationships like Steve and Justin that have developed and Robin that have developed later on, where you really feel, and to George's point, it's the characters in Hawkins that I care more about than any of the other characters. 11 is my least interesting character.
I think
but I told you guys earlier that, this season, when we first talked about part 1, I was like, yeah, this is maybe 3. This is actually potentially moving up for me to be either 1 or 2.
It's number 1. It's number 1.
And they've come out and said it
from season 1.
They've come out right. They've come out and said it. This was their Empire Strikes Back season. They said that they have to lose at the end of this. They've lost.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost.
How'd they lose? Nobody from the main group died.
Doesn't matter, but it's Hawkins. It's the Upside Down.
Comic book.
There's gonna be 5 deaths. There's gonna be 5 deaths in this show. It's the
fiction.
fucking stupid basketball guy, the fucking doctor. Who gives a shit? Is Paul Reiser still handcuffed to the fucking radiator?
You didn't give a shit. That's the point, George. The only one who doesn't give a shit is you. Everybody else does because they wrote it well.
Not well done. It was not well done.
I thought it was.
Well
I thought it was.
It's wonderfully produced.
That
The
was
special
not
effects are excellent. The ending is truly epic. It felt like freaking watching the end of Lord of the Rings.
The end of Lord of the Rings was not good.
Production-wise, it was, George. That's what I'm saying.
Who cares about production-wise? Slow motion doesn't. It was fucking Zack Snyder. I'm seeing slow motion.
It's not slow motion. It's a slow build.
It was slow motion. It was
got a great.
So bad.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it
was better.
Vecna was phenomenal. The way the town ends up and the Upside Down being released into the world was excellent. The idea that there's a big bad that he sold his soul to, essentially.
Here's the problem, and this is my problem.
Does it leave you wanting more? It leaves me wanting. I just know that it made me feel like what I felt like at the end of it. Well, when I first saw Empire Strikes Back, I was a kid. I was like, what? And then as you watch it more and more, you're like, I need to know what's going to happen next, like right now. I'm like, I need season 5 right now because this is
really because I'll wait 5 years.
No,
I'll wait till
I need it. I need it. I
may have
to
now. Wait.
It's to me, it had more of an emotional punch than most of the stuff that we've talked about.
Oh my God, it did. Now. That's what I was saying. I felt the punch.
It's the stuff that you guys are saying right now is absolutely ridiculous.
And I don't care
for you to say redeemed part 1 is an asinine because you still have 11 and Mike and Will whose character arc
die for you to care about something.
What?
Do the main characters have to die for you to give a shit or care?
But here's the thing: when your main characters are 4 of the most boring fucking people on the show, it doesn't help. It doesn't.
They even had arcs that were redeemed in this storyline.
What?
In the 2 episodes?
What arcs?
Not all the arcs have to be. Here's the thing. Not all the arcs have to be.
Here's my shitty painting I did of you.
That was an emotional punch for me.
I understood it. I mean,
because
for some people,
you're struggling to come out. I get that, but still, it doesn't make for an interesting character arc. It was horribly done. I can't look at Mike anymore after what Vlad told me.
But he's the heart.
He's the heart.
No, here's the thing. Max had the best fucking. She had the best fucking arc of the show.
Yeah, we know. The great stuff is great. Like
what I'm trying to say is, you take a character like Eddie Munson, and you've turned him into sort of the most loved character. I'm going back, and here's the thing. This is what's shocking to me is watching Steve's character in the first season.
Oh my God.
See how much of a dick he is. Not really a dick all the time, but sort of not developed, and then you see him become who he becomes by the end of the first season. Then then to watch it, and it continues to become a better person, and continues, and then even Robin's character, who I adore, I think she's a wonderful character. The older kids are better, other than Jonathan, who who, yes, I will give this to everybody. Jonathan gets the short end of the stick in season 4. Argyle, I don't give a shit about Argyle. I'm sorry.
What about Will gets a short end of the stick?
Will's always gotten the short end of the stick. He either gets taken by
Yeah,
Vecna.
but I'm sure he has a major part to play because he's the one that had the same vision as one did.
Well, and that's the other thing. Well, it's not only they had the one. He was taken by He was taken by the mind. That's the thing. Going back and watching
We're going to see that pay off.
But now you go back and you start watching the earlier seasons, and like I'm at the point in season.
Doesn't care. They all have to die, have their intestines pulled out.
It's not about that. It's the fact that you're expecting there to be some huge danger to everybody, but the only person that dies is one of the more interesting characters. But he dies because he does something stupid.
But it did feel there were great moments, like when Max starts twisting up. I freaked out.
I was like, are they really going to?
But again, here's the thing: Max, Steve, Robin, those are the characters. But that's not half the cast. The other cast is the fucking ones that nobody gives a shit about.
Well,
they have a role to play too, right?
But the thing is, they drag the show down.
All right, can we stop for a second? Who's everybody's? If you have to pick your top,
you didn't like their arc as much.
Who's your top?
What arc? What arc did 11 have? My nose bleeds.
She had a huge arc. She had a huge arc. She had to overcome her fear to use her power.
She had to regain her power. She had to regain her power.
Regain her power. She had to figure out how to use her power to get in there to help Max. They all helped her.
She didn't even help Max.
Yes, she did. She brought her back to life.
Shut up. She goes there to help Max. She knocks around Vecna, and then all of a sudden she totally forgets about him. She gets slapped around, but thankfully Mike goes, "I love you," and then she remembers.
But that's his role. That's
his role. That's his role.
That's the drawing, you idiot.
That's stupid. That is
the drawing of the four of us.
So she basically learned her power only because Mike reminded her to use her power.
No, he reached her.
Her arc is tied to a man.
Her when nobody else could, George.
It was the key that she was loved. That's the whole thing.
George, if you were dying and Vlad had to come get you, it'd be me and Keith talking to Vlad. Vlad, just remember when we were in Greenport and I touched you on your hip. Go save George.
End of story. Credits roll. Credits roll. It's over.
Or Keith when he's drunk. I love you, George. I always loved you. And that'll give you the strength to carry on.
No, it won't. Can I tell you one thing? If I were like in the upside down world, the only person I would ask to help me is Vlad.
Why? He can't do anything without me. I'm his inspiration. Without me, he has no verve.
You're my muse to abuse. That's who you are. So that's
George, just admit you're the contrarian. You've been so you know what it is? You're hopped up with gore and sex and orgies from freaking the boys. You can't take this good heartfelt.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I watched a good show that knows how to give character arcs versus this fucking stupid kitty trash.
Why? Because there's
that has fucking 2 Elliot pages on screen half the fucking time that suck the charisma out of anything that's going on screen.
I don't know how you could watch these 2 episodes and not feel the emotional like the hits.
Because
you know what?
Every time I felt emotional when I was watching Max and Steve and Eddie and all that.
Those are main characters.
But then I go back to Mike and Will and 11, and I'm just
guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Even I hate to bring back Empire Strikes Back, but I will bring back Empire Strikes Back because that narrative breakdown of like splitting up.
You can't compare it.
Let me finish for a second. Wait.
Whatever comparison you're about to make is stupid.
Hey, let him finish.
Let me finish.
No, it's stupid.
You have no idea what I'm about to say. Every story is not going to be.
Hey, George, you had your piece. Get
look. I was more invested in Han and Leia's story than Luke's story when I first saw Empire.
Okay.
But it pays off. I'm not I'm just saying
No. That sounds terrible because now it sounds like you're comparing.
Let's bring up Return of the King. Let's bring up Two Towers. Everybody gets split up in Two Towers. Everybody gets split up in Two Towers and into Return of the King. You have Frodo and
it has nothing to do with anything.
Wait a second. Even Frodo and Sam's and Gollum's travels to go to Mordor are probably one of the more boring stories than what's happening in Minas Tirith or what's happening at Helm's Deep. But it's key to what's happening in the story.
Whether it's key or not. In terms of a movie, it's boring.
Fine. Luke's story. I'm sorry. Every time they would go back to Dagobah as a kid, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck are they going to show you?
Combined, how long were the two last episodes? Like 42 hours?
No, they were like 4 hours.
I didn't get bored once. I was super excited the entire time. I didn't even enjoy the first part of the fourth season as much as you guys did. The second part redeemed everything for me, and I hated the Russian storyline. Once you get to episode, I don't know if it's episode 9 or 8.
Yeah, the payoff. Yeah, you're right. It's episode 8 and 9. The payoffs to me now, going back and rewatching the earlier seasons and seeing some of the payoffs of some of the characters that you're building into. Like, look, they may shit the bed in season 5 and they may fuck it up completely.
Even if they shit the bed, they defend it.
I'll be honest with you. It's given me plenty of entertainment. I'm looking forward.
I cried like
I cried too. Times. I cried a lot.
I can't believe I cried.
Vaginas done because there was nothing to cry over.
Sure there was. I'm sorry. The brotherly love that Justin had for Eddie, that was great. When he dies, that's great.
Some of the things they say.
The stuff when he died because he was stupid. Why did Eddie do that thing? That was
Eddie
the
did it to buy time, because if he had gone through there, the bats would have come through into the upside, and he was trying to buy more time.
Maybe it was a useless death, but it was epic.
Maybe it was his way of no longer backing down. He was no longer backing down. It's like, come on, seriously. I mean, it was and okay. Color me, whatchamacallit, manipulated. But the fact that they used Metallica the way they did, and they did what they had to do, that was a ballsy fucking moment. And I loved it that they did it. Now, in real world, this took place in March, spring break, and the end of March of 1986. Metallica's Master of Puppets came out on March 3rd, 1986. So Eddie basically had about 2.5 weeks to learn Master of Puppets that well in order to play
Maybe he could have,
he's a virtuoso or whatever. That's perfectly fine. It worked for me. That was great.
Even when it ends, after they defeat Vecna, first of all, I loved the history lesson we got. That was really, really
But that was the history. But that was earlier, not in these episodes.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about when he goes into the Upside Down.
Right. When he goes in the Upside Down, they show you.
Okay,
but when after they've won and you see the town in disarray after the Upside Down breaks through, that was really very well executed. That first, the sequence of the town getting basically cut in half by the things, then the drama within the town and everybody trying to pitch in. It felt to me almost like in 80s movies, right? You got helicopters coming in.
Right. I thought it felt good. Look, and let's talk about crying. I'm sorry. The scene between Dustin.
Yeah, that got me in.
And Eddie's uncle is fucking amazing, because at the end of the day, what was working for me is that, okay, you love this character. This character hasn't gotten he's not redeemed to the entire world.
You're never going to get it.
He only gets it to the people that truly cared about him, right? Mm-hmm. And hopefully you're thinking, I have this idea that he died in the Upside Down. Obviously he'll show up again as a vision like Billy did to Max. He'll show up as a vision to Dustin in season 5 in the Upside Down, sort of haunting him.
Maybe George is Vecna.
What I like though, I remember like when season 4 part 1 started, everyone was like, well, Vecna is obviously not the main bad because he's just so weak and boring. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, he's fantastic.
No, but wait a second. That was because of something that was said in the show itself. They said that he was the field general. Dustin says it. He's the field general, but then you find out he's not the field general. He is. Everybody thought the mind flayer was.
Do you remember? No, wait. Let's back up for a second there. There's a bigger bad out there. And whatever it is that's giving Vecna the vision.
He is the big
bad.
Vecna
had the visions. That's real.
No, Vecna created the mind flayer. Go back and watch it. Vecna is the big bad. It's always been Vecna.
I thought Vecna reached out to whatever the big bad was.
It was just something out there that he formulated it and created it into the shape of a spider.
Gotcha.
Like when he was playing with the spiders. Vecna is the big bad.
That's not what I got from it.
Well, go back and watch it and watch the interviews. And watch the interviews.
We're going to have a disagreement.
Watch the interviews with the Duffer Brothers. I just watched an interview with
I'm going to watch it. Can you
so they told
do it? Because Vecna
is the big guy.
Either way, I still love it. But
no, it's not crazy. It's the idea is, who is really the big bad? At the end of the day, the big bad, it's ultimately 11. is the impetus for all this.
Right.
She's the one who created the portals into
So you
that.
think she's got to die in the end?
Absolutely, and they
Better
foreshadowed.
die.
George, you're gonna have some payoff.
They foreshadowed
And you
it
could
in the
love
first
the show.
season. They foreshadowed it in the first season.
Maybe there'll
They
be a
are-
guy who could turn
They
really
do.
small, go up her butt, and explode.
How did
Thing is,
they
Will's
foreshadow
gonna
it?
turn bad in season 5.
11's going to turn bad.
See, Will.
No, she's probably gonna have to do something to shut everything down, and it'll take all her power.
Will's gonna turn bad. Watch.
So in the end, I thought it was terrific. I couldn't
I did too.
believe that I enjoyed it as much as I did.
Neither
And
can I.
the real killer for me is I watched those last 2 episodes. I watched the production again, the production that Netflix poured into it, the heart that the writers poured into it. And then I went back and I watched the last episode of Obi-Wan again. And I said, motherfuckers, I wish I could have gotten an emotional punch out of this show. And I'm just so glad that I watched it, Vlad, because you remember me. I was like, I don't want to watch this. I can't watch it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
too
I remember you
long.
saying that.
I'm so glad I stuck through it because it paid off on every level for me. And again, last 2 years, outside of the last episode of Mandalorian season 2, it's the best thing I've watched on TV.
All right.
Better than more emotional punch than anything I got out of the Disney Plus shows, anything I got out of the Marvel shows, anything I got out of almost everything, because I really cried my ass off on season 2, episode, what was it, 8 of The Mandalorian?
Well, Luke, yeah.
Yeah, I cried my ass off of joy watching that. So that's a Star Wars moment that wasn't in the Star Wars movies for me. I'm super excited because the ending to me, again, that was epic. They're all there. They're giving each other their hugs. They don't know what's coming. They get this feeling. Again, then Will has his moment at the end because he's more connected to it than anybody else. Maybe something bad happened to him within, the upside down.
Yeah, that's kind of
Don't
interesting.
get bored with me, George.
That's kind of interesting. Going back to the thing about Will again, like there's got to be more to Will because he's
going to have his moment now.
No, but he's been taken a
He's gonna
lot.
turn evil.
Is he going to turn? Is he going to
Bank
turn
it.
evil?
He's gonna save this episode. He's gonna turn evil.
And they said the Duffer Brothers said no more new characters.
Really?
Yeah, because what's her face complained about it.
Oh fuck her! I'm sorry.
Who complained about it?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Billy,
She
who?
also 11. She complained about that, and she also complained about they don't have the balls to kill off main characters.
Keith and George, I expected, but from you, I expect a little more.
No, I enjoyed it overall. I mean, it was not a bad season. It's just
Look, I think to me it's a win as a show. I mean, what it's capturing, what it's doing for people, like it has an emotional payoff. In fact, it's making me going back and watching the other seasons again because I'm
Don't
so
let
invested.
George cower you.
Nobody's cowering me. I love it. I fucking love it.
With his little face and his head tilt. Don't let him cower you into a corner.
And I said this, and I said this to you offline, Artie. I said the fact that after you've seen what you just saw with this, and then you're going into Thor, and then after we talked about it after we saw Thor, and I was like, after you've just come off this emotional roller coaster of what happened in Stranger Things, and you go into Thor, which has dark themes and very powerful themes, and you're like, I'm not feeling anything the way that I felt something like that.
Even the peanut butter pilot or whatever his thing, he even gets a cool moment.
The who?
The peanut butter.
Yuri.
God, you're just willing to suck every dick on that show, and it's ridiculous. Right.
You want me to come over to your house? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, and with that, we're going to call it a day. I think that those views are not are not the views expressed by the podcast Cosmic.
You were the hero of the Belarus war. What happened to that man?
Yeah, okay, we get it, George. You didn't like
that was a great character arc. I mean, I'm glad they resolved how
all of a sudden you didn't like 80s movies, George?
It doesn't. I've seen the 80s movie.
You didn't like Lethal's weapons. You didn't like
the Lethal's weapons and the iHearts and the what?
What about the Commando?
Pretty in Pink, Commando.
The first bleed. I saw them already. They were better done back then.
No. That doesn't mean this can't be good too, George.
It
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
good.
I thought it was. I thought it
was good.
I thought it was great.
The best show that was on this week was The Boys.
Oh god.
I love The Boys. I just didn't love it as much as Stranger Things.
Yep, it was much better than Stranger Things.
Okay. I beg.
That's not okay. Don't agree with him.
I don't know. I mean, I thought The Boys was great. I thought
Boys was better because every character was interesting versus half the fucking characters on the show.
Listen, all I know is what. All right, what's next for us, guys? What's next? What do we got to look forward to next? What's the next show? We got Miss
nothing,
Marvel
Miss
ends
Marvel.
this week. Ozark season 5.
no. There's no season 5.
What do we got? What do we got after Miss Marvel? What's the Star Wars show? Andor.
Andor.
I'm excited.
It's okay not to be excited. It's okay not to be excited. It's
No,
okay
I
to
am
be
excited. Production-wise, it looks great. From what I've seen.
So does the Gilded Age. You don't see me watching that shit.
Yeah, you don't want to watch anything of quality. You want
I'm
to
watching. Are you watching For All Mankind? Are you watching Ted Lasso? Are you watching Star Trek: The Next Strange New Worlds? Are you watching The Orville?
Is Ted Lasso about the soccer
Severance?
or rugby or something?
Are you watching Severance? I'm giving you 8 billion shows that you should be watching and you're not watching. Go watch The
Did
Bear.
you watch
on
the
Hulu.
Chappelle special?
Yes, I did, and it was fucking amazing.
Thank you. Who put you onto that?
You did.
Did you
Who
watch
put
the
you onto
World?
Evil? Who put you onto Evil?
I put you onto Evil.
Fuck you. I
Listen,
did.
Leland.
No, fuck you. Fuck you,
Chappelle wasn't that
George.
great.
Fuck you, George. Fuck you, George. I'm not George. You, George. George the Demon. People call you George the Demon.
Why? What'd I do?
Not you. You guys should be watching Evil. You should be watching Star Trek: The Next Strange New Worlds. Whatever Artie says.
No,
fuck
no,
him.
no. It's the best show. I know.
The Orville, which Keith.
Basically,
enjoy
this
it,
is,
yeah.
this is basically my TV watching thing. Anything he says, already says to watch, I won't watch because it sucks.
That's not true.
It is true.
You like Ozark?
Not because of you.
What do you mean not because of me? What would you have watched if I didn't tell you to watch it?
Vlad told me to watch Ozark.
Don't listen to Vlad.
Fuck you.
We
Go
told
watch
you to
For All
watch
Mankind.
Reacher,
Go watch For All Mankind. Go
which is,
watch.
which is one of the most, I
Did
think,
you watch
underrated.
Euphoria? Did you watch Euphoria?
No, because I don't need to. You can go on to Reddit to spank your monkey. You don't need to sit there and watch HBO. Okay.
I got classic porno on Blu-ray. I don't need
Okay.
that shit.
What were you saying, George, about For All Mankind?
For All Mankind is like one of those shows that's under the radar, and it's really sad that it's that
It's
far.
a fucking great show.
It's a
Really
great
good
show.
What's Moonhaven?
It looks like shit. I'm sorry, I'm not watching it.
Who's in it?
That's where Moon Knight lives.
It's
There's another
Joe.
show,
It's
The
your
Old
boy
Man?
Joe. Old Man. I heard really good things about. That's Jeff
I've
Bridges.
been watching it. It's not bad.
I heard really good things about that. The Bear is really good on Hulu. What
gotta
We
check it
Do in the Shadows is a must-watch show.
Look who we're talking about.
End story. Stop.
Look who we're talking about.
It's fucking gut-busting laughing.
Listen, when I watch things that are in help me grow in my intellect. They need to
Euphoria.
stimulate something up here.
Nothing. Is anybody watching the 4th season of
What's
Westworld?
amazing? It's like a penis.
Hey,
I lost interest in
was
Westworld.
Bill Maher on last night?
This world,
Bill Maher is off for the month of July. He comes back at the end of July.
Okay.
Bill Maher sucks anyway. I'm sick and tired of his fucking shit anyway.
Okay, we're not going political here.
I'm not going political. I just don't think he's interesting anymore.
Okay.
Who do you like? The Boys. Even Keith doesn't like The Boys.
He likes The Boys.
I like The Voice. That's good. You should watch it.
No, but legitimately does. So we have Andor and She-Hulk are next. Kind of
In
the big
terms
things
of
for me.
shows, yeah. Well, and the end of Better Call Saul, the last part of the final season will.
Oh, I thought that was done.
No, it's got a few more episodes to go, and then it'll be done. I think it starts in the middle of this month,
Yeah, I can't.
and then
I couldn't watch that show.
nobody. Yeah, okay.
I couldn't watch it. If I would give you a good show to watch,
Don't tell me Terminal List because I will smack you.
I'm not going to tell you the terminal list.
You already said it.
I already told you to go watch the Chappelle thing.
Okay.
Now
I
I'm
told
telling
to
you
watch
another
Evil.
good documentary to watch. The
I'm
girl
not
in
going
the
to watch
picture.
that. I don't care. I'm not going to watch that.
The girl in the picture.
Not until you watch.
You don't want to learn.
Not until
You
you
don't
watch
care
the
about
Orville.
people.
Not until you watch the Orville. Not until you keep on giving Star Trek another chance, and stop being so fucking close-minded.
I'm not close. I'm the most open-minded person you ever met. Who else gives anything a chance but me?
Everyone, but you.
Keith, what's a show I should watch?
The Boys.
Yeah, I'd probably say The Boys would be worth watching again. Try like get past the second season.
It's
The
got
third season's really good.
Third season's really good. Ted Lasso, Severance, must.
I do want to
watch.
watch Severance a lot.
Ted
Actually,
Lasso and Severance are must-watch shows. For All Mankind is a very strong.
For All
show.
Mankind.
which
For All Mankind.
where is that on?
It's on Apple TV.
Apple.
Oh, I can't miss that.
No, but you can fucking buy another pair of Yeezy sneakers.
Hey,
I'm
It's
helping my neighbor.
$5.99 a month, jackhole. Just spend the $5.99.
Actually, it's free right now.
Is it free?
Yeah.
hey, what's that movie that just came out that's like a multiversal movie? All
The
things are
Michelle
one?
Young, Michelle Young,
Yeah.
Michelle
Michelle
Yeoh.
Yeoh.
film. Yeah, that's supposed to be one of the best movies of the year.
What's it called though? So I could go rent it?
Everything,
All at once.
everywhere, all at once. And then you
Yeah, I
have to
wanna see
watch
it.
the Nicolas Cage movie too.
Yeah, I got to watch that one too.
That's a
Big?
great movie too. No,
Yeah.
what's it called? The
Undeniable
unbearable way, undeniable
burden
talent,
of genius.
of talent.
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 That's like me.
Yeah, everything, everywhere, all at once, and the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Oh,
Huh.
what do you call this on Netflix, right? Uncharted.
No,
No, not on
No.
Netflix.
I think it is.
no, it would be on
I'm gonna
Paramount
watch it.
Plus, I think.
And you said what do you call is coming on maybe very soon? Top Gun, Maverick.
And The Northman is another one to see as well.
Yeah, I want to
wanna
watch
see
that
Is
too.
it? Because I heard it wasn't great.
It was okay. It was okay.
It was probably the weakest of his movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that preview for Amsterdam.
It's basically oh, the
amazing.
Amsterdam. Look, I'm a big fan of
Woo!
David O. Russell. I just rewatched
Really? He's a-
regardless of
yeah.
whatever. Just Artie's the same way, but I still love him, you know. So it doesn't
No, but
What do
Artie
you mean
never
I'm the
did some of the
same
things that
way?
he's
Don't,
done.
first of all, don't compare me to anybody. Never compare me.
Okay.
I'm
I
incomparable.
truly love Silver Linings Playbook. I think it's such a fun, a wonderful movie, and I say that you guys can eviscerate me all you
That's
want.
with Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper,
You like
Robert
him
De
a
Niro,
lot, don't you?
Jennifer Lawrence.
I bet you
Jennifer
do.
Lawrence. No, but it's everybody in the cast. It's a great.
Well, I watched Mother again a couple of nights ago,
Good for you.
but you don't like that because it's a deep kind of
That's what's his
Cerebral
name.
kinda horror.
That's Aronofsky, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
you
No,
can't stomach thought.
go back and watching Ass to Ass. Go watch Requiem for a Dream. Just stop, okay?
But what can we do for our fan today?
What was that? The movie The Fountain was really good.
What can we do for our fan? Our fan basically wants us to talk about Ezra Miller.
Our fan wants us to talk about 1982 and finish that.
That's the other
Wait,
fan.
Urza Miller is the one who
Urza,
I don't know what her name is.
their name.
Their ally.
I don't know what it is, but she had guns and like booze
They
and,
They
had
had
guns.
guns.
and booze though. Right? Isn't that what I'm hearing now?
They apparently are quite the person.
They are quite the person, and
And
unfortunately, his
they're
talent-
done with the Flash, right?
Nothing is said. Nobody has come out and said that.
The DCEU is just a tragic mess, and I don't think Black Adam's going to save them. I saw yesterday that there's a pre-convention teaser for the Shazam movie.
The teaser's just basically Shazam showing up. It's nothing. So he's
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting news.
I had to dig deep to find all the news for our podcast
and most
For
of
our
the news you
viewer-
find is false. It's all
for our
false.
viewer to enjoy.
It's all false because you're like, oh, look at this. This is going to come up. This is going to come up. Nope. False. False. False.
Did you see the new trailer for Thor?
Fan made. Fan made.
It's like a fan edit, some shit or other. That's good.
How many times you put it up? I go false.
That's like a fan edit. It says fan edit right there, and he puts
Fan
it
edit.
up.
Yeah, what's a fan edit? They take the preview and they cut it up.
But don't forget this. You watch vid captures too. So
I do. I do. Listen, I can't help it. I really like spoilers. I want to know what's going on. I'm going to be very curious. So we're coming into San Diego Comic-Con in the next couple of weeks. That's
Your
pretty
sex life
exciting.
must be so much. Your sex life must be such a trip.
So what?
You climax and then you decide, now let's have some fun. That's you. You just want to know everything ahead of time.
All right.
Why don't you get to bed? I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. I found out what I needed before I get to bed.
I found out what I've been here beforehand. Let me spoil it for you. Shut up.
Let me spoil it for you.
Let me spoil it for you. Everyone dies. at the
I'm
end.
done.
I'm done. But yeah. So what's your homework, Artie? Get onto The Boys. Watch The Boys. You should watch it and hate watch it.
No, I got to finish the Terminal List, so I'm going to go watch that after we're done.
Right, that's what you might as well go flush your life down the toilet if that's what you're doing. I don't understand why you're watching that shit. I really
It's a
don't.
good show
It's not a good show.
because you don't like the themes.
I don't care for it. I don't care.
That doesn't
for
mean
it.
it's not a good show.
It's not a good show. Critically and audience wise, it's not getting good reviews. It's not.
First of all, fuck you. Who knows better than me? That's number one.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I am the arbiter.
No, you're not the arbiter. You're not the arbiter. You're the arbiter of bad taste. Yeah.
When have I gotten? No. I'm going to ask you to name one thing that I like that was bad. One.
A brain smasher, a love story.
You didn't like that?
Nope.
You didn't like Brain Smasher Love Story?
No, I didn't.
Do you know who's in that?
Terry Hatcher.
And who else?
Andrew Dice Clay.
And what do?
They fall in love.
But who do they fight? Ninjas.
So what?
He pulls the hearts out.
No.
That movie was fucking a tour de force of fun.
Stuff that you loved that sucked?
Yeah. Nothing.
No. There's other stuff out there. You loved Punch Drunk Love.
Right. That's a great fucking movie. Did you not
No.
cry?
No.
You didn't even watch it.
I
You have
liked
no
it.
heart. You're agreeing with the dope down there.
No,
I liked it.
I didn't like Punch Drunk Love.
Not you, Keith. You're the good
I
guy.
I didn't like it.
Why didn't you like it?
Because it's fucking annoying. I
You
didn't
didn't
like
know what
it.
it was about.
Did you?
You don't understand. It's about love. And you don't betray or lie even a little bit to the people you love the most.
Friends
It
don't
has
lie.
repercussions.
Wait a
Repercussions.
minute, you're lying to yourself right now.
I'm trying to tell you what it's about. Go watch the movie.
No.
Think about it. Think about it.
No. I've given
It's a
you
bad
so
movie.
many things to go watch, and you're not watching a single.
You know what
damn
else I watched the other day?
Oh, can't wait. Here we go.
Meatballs.
Okay, Meatballs was fine.
You didn't.
It
It
was
was
okay.
fine.
It's
It
not
was
one of
okay.
his best movies. He's
It's
done
one of
better
my
movies.
favorite movies.
Why? Because Woody the Wabbit?
It's fucking great.
Spaz.
Yeah, it's all heart. You just don't have heart.
It's heart, but it's not as good as Ghostbusters. It's not as good as Groundhog
Right.
Day. It's not as good as
Well, it's
That's
not
good,
good.
right.
It's not as great.
What?
You're the one who liked the Ghostbusters Resurrection.
I liked Afterlife. Yes, I did like it.
That was the dumbest fucking nostalgia-filled.
Worse than the
Your
Paul
heart-
Feig. Worse than the Paul Feig one. With
Yeah,
Melissa
but you
McCarthy.
guys did look like the Paul Feig one because it was women in it. I mean, let's be honest.
No, I
No,
don't care about that. I like
That's not
it.
it. It just wasn't a good movie.
Hey, you know who was
I
in
mean,
it?
there's only
Wait, was Chris Hemsworth in it?
he was the bad guy. He was the male secretary who ends up getting possessed.
Okay, that could happen.
Anything else?
You don't like anything that I like that's good.
You don't like anything that's good.
I like tons of things that are good.
No, you don't.
You like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. You're a
I
fucking
did not
idiot.
like that.
You
You
liked
know
it.
I didn't like that. I watched it, but I didn't like it.
Do you know what I've noticed? He'll watch something, he'll rave about it, and then like 2 weeks later, like, and I didn't like it.
That's what
Batman.
he says. That's what he says on Facebook. And then when he comes on these things or he talks to us later on, he says, no, I didn't like it.
You remember Batman? It was good. It was good. It was like a 7. It was
Yeah,
all right.
that's
It was
a
nice.
7. Is that impressive to you for a Batman movie? A movie everybody, you guys went gaga over. You couldn't stop talking about it.
What did you give Batman and Robin?
That's probably like a 2.
Okay.
What? You're stupid.
Come on, cool party. Chill out.
Robin's a 6.
Yeah, you.
Fuck
I
no way. What'd you give Rise of
don't know what
Skywalker?
movies you like.
What'd you give Rise of Skywalker?
Me?
George, I mean Artie.
George gave it a 0.
I wouldn't give it a 0.
I give it a 1.
0.0.
I give it a 1. And the only reason I give it a 1 is because that John Williams music. After that, it was a fucking
I don't
garbage
know. I
dump.
don't get bent out of shape about stuff like you guys. I could live with the sequel movies. They're out there. They're just movies. I don't have to think about them. You guys are all.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
How many gears are on your vehicle? Because you shift gears so many times. You have so many different gear
No,
shifts.
the
it's
difference.
ridiculous.
How many times are your ankles broken right now?
I don't know.
Because you
I'm gonna tell
backtrack so fucking hard.
No.
It's
Before we go,
unbelievable.
this has to be said. The difference between me and the three of you guys. I'm very nuanced in my views and my opinions.
No.
Like I don't do this like this. I kind of like, I think about it.
Hey, nuanced. Hey, Mr. Nooks and Crannies. Shut the fuck up and go watch The Boys. Go watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds and go watch The Orville.
Glad I told you.
No, you can't. Why? Because I can't put it I can't put it in my head.
No, I put it on. Like I sit there. I said, you know what?
Give it a fucking chance.
No, but I gave it 2 chances, right? The
No.
first time I started to watch it, I'm like, why are we spending time in this guy's house at the beginning? Why?
Watch the story.
Wait,
You were
so-
complaining.
And
If
then
I
he
go
starts.
back,
Wait, then he starts riding his horse over to his.
right? But do you have
Starfleet or
any
something.
idea why?
Wait. So then I stopped it because I couldn't anymore. I didn't need to know what he was. He's too verklempt. He can't.
Why is he verklempt?
I don't. For whatever reason, he couldn't.
Because he
do
saw
it
his
anymore.
own death. Or
He
couldn't
saw
do it
his own
anymore.
fucking demise.
Wait. So then I go back and watch it again.
No, you don't. Why is you're fucking chewing down on a sausage
So then I'm watching.
as you're getting face fucked by a piece of
I'm
meat?
watching.
That's what happens.
I'm watching Spock at PF Chang's with his wife or something. And they go home and they're in this very big open, they got big vista views because he's obviously very
Lovely.
wealthy, son of a diplomat. Having sex with his wife, trying to get it on when the phone goes off, I guess. Yeah, you go. I really need you. You there?
What's the problem with that, Artie?
That's not Star Trek. You don't need any of that.
Dude, you have that on Star Trek all the time.
No, not in the original series. This is how it starts. You're in the ship. You're flying through space. You don't need to know anything. They come across an anomaly. That's the story.
What
That's
about
it.
STNG? You didn't have all these things when they're playing around. They're on the holodeck.
It grew into that. It grew into that big.
That's
cast.
already been established on the shows. So you have that now. Just go and watch it from a character development standpoint. It's
I still want
fucking
to know
great.
why his head's twitching around.
Because he's got Tourette's.
So all they did is take the Kardashians and put it into Star Trek.
Dude, go back and fucking watch it. Just finish. Can you just watch the entire first season and just shut up and watch it?
I tried.
No, you didn't try. You have the attention span.
What's going to happen next? Bones is going to appear on the show, and
No. Just watch the fucking show.
Chekhov, his brother.
Watch the show.
he has to be watched together. He should hold his hand through it.
Maybe we'll have to. We'll have to do a watch party. Can we do
There you
that?
go.
And then
No,
I would do that.
because you want to do a watch party.
Used to do a
Yeah,
watch
let's do
party.
watch parties, and
No,
our fan would like that.
No,
not
we
you.
don't need to do a watch
Not
party.
with you.
No,
No.
dude, I'm not doing it.
Nope.
No, I'll pick the first show.
No, there's no
No.
first show.
First
You
of all, who the fuck are you doing, Vlad? Who's that?
You watching this. This is the same fucking guy who plays one fucking video game. And when we tell him to try something else, do you remember when we tried Diablo? Oh, did you try to play Anthem? No, because you never took it out of the fucking package. Did you try to play Borderlands? No, because I gave him to
I
you.
tried to play a couple games. I tried to play. What's that stupid game?
Division.
You and George made me play?
Division, and you made everybody's life a living hell.
Oh my God.
That's not even.
Sure.
No. My therapist has finally got me to block that memory out of my.
You did Diablo 3 with us one night,
Mhm.
and you were
Nice.
complaining.
I wasn't complaining. I said, "What are we doing? Where are you guys? What's going on?"
Right. Instead of sitting there.
And then all I
figuring-
hear is this out of your headsets. That's all the game is.
Artie, you're a simple man with simple tastes. That's it. Just
That's a
basic.
great song.
You're a
Simple
simple
man.
man with simple tastes.
A simpleton?
You're a simpleton.
I'm not a simpleton.
Yes,
First
you
of all,
are.
Steve,
You're not
it's,
nuanced. Your idea of nuance is No, that's your nuance. That's it. No.
That's not true. I'm gonna watch Amsterdam.
Dude, watch something that we're telling you to watch. I told you to watch Evil. You started watching Evil. You liked it.
First of all, nobody tells me what to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, just right now, just this happened right before the podcast, by the way, just so everybody's clear about this. I said to him, I just told him, where is it? Let me find it. Thank you. Please do me a favor and watch The Bear on Hulu, especially the first episode. You'll know why. His response, okay. How's that? Nobody tells me.
I'll watch it.
So basically, did I tell you to watch? Did I recommend it to you to watch it? Or
no, I've already seen the preview like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so basically, it's got nothing to do with you, Vlad.
It's because he wants to, Vlad, not because you told him.
Thank you.
All right, with that, everybody, we're going to call it a night. We love you.
A lot of editing today.
Good
A
luck.
lot of editing today.
No.
Thank you for bearing with us and bearing with our idiosyncrasies, basically the ones that are right over there.
Thank you for coming to watch me tonight.
Right over there.
I appreciate it.
Coming to watch you tonight, because it's all about him, right? Right.
Good night, everybody.
You're absolute, okay? Go eat a grape.
Podcast Cosmic.